Hello, this is the British Cabine. How may I help you? Yeah, this is Mr. P. Who's that? It's a very bad line. Who are you? Mr. G! Phil Gregory. I thought you were on a cruise ship in the Caribbean. That's why it's a bad line. Okay. Me, Chester and I are going up Bato Ni Ningning, which is a very beautiful viewpoint here in Palawan. It's at one end of Long Beach, which is a 14-kilometer white sand beach, one of the longest white sand beaches in Asia. And we're going to take some photos for our 2023 calendar up there with Chester in it, showing off the beauty of Palawan and why it's won numerous awards as the most beautiful island in the world, and my home, of course. Yeah. Tell you a story. I've hardly got enough breath to walk up the hill, and Chester's just collapsed into a load of greenery by the side of the road. Okay, I'll tell you a story. Coming up. My 6-month-old puppy, Chester, is more used to swimming in the sea and paddling than climbing up steep hills on a hot day. It's about 32 degrees today, but we wanted to wait until the roads were a little bit drier. They were very muddy the other day. So this is the track that we're walking up, and the story relates to the time when I was conned, I think is the only word, Sir Ran now, into driving up here. So this is the story. We were travelling around Palawan. I was on vacation, and I had booked rooms in different places. Sabang, Dailun Lodge for New Year's Eve for the underground river. Where else did we go? Port Barton to see our friend Dam Dam and stay at Shanties, and a place called Tublian Lodge with a guy called Alex, who's now sold out to the enemy and is working for Megaworld, who are building a huge project at the end of this beach that's going to ruin the place for the rest of its life. Ran left his job at El Nido Cove, which is where I met him, to come and work, or to go and work at Ankla, which was a new hotel being built on Nakpan Beach. But unfortunately they were a bit behind with the building. The COVID-19 hit, and they were a year delayed in opening, essentially. So Ran was a bit of a loose end, and he said to me, did you say you were going to be travelling around Palawan? Could I come with you? So he did, and we stayed in various different hotels, and one of them, Tublian Inn, was relatively near to here, Bato Ni Ningning. It's back along Long Beach. And he said to me, why don't we go up Bato Ni Ningning? It's beautiful, it's a lovely viewpoint, you can take some photos and all that stuff. So we duly headed off in my rental car, which at that time, I think 2020, was a very beautiful, brand new Toyota Vigo. Very small little car. Can you imagine coming up this road in this very small little car? I was scared out of my life. I think Ran was pretty scared as well. The car was going all over the place on the gravel. It actually wasn't too wet. When we came up here yesterday, it was raining. This is really the only way to come up here is on a motorbike. And when I said to Ran, have you been up here before? He said yes. And I said, how? And he said, on a motorbike. But we did make it just to the end. And then he said, can we go further? Chester's decided this is one step too far, and he's just going to have a little rest in the greenery beside the road. I think it went down a bit further than he thought it was going to. Probably there's a ditch down there, possibly even some water. So he's kind of disappeared out of view, and I had to let go of the lead because he was too far away and I couldn't reach him. But he's done incredibly well. We've walked all the way up this hill. I would like to point out in my defence, ladies and gentlemen, that I am 62 years old. I have a hip replacement. I'm, what do they call it, morbidly obese. And I've managed to walk up here. Whereas our young friend Chester here is just 6 months old, has 4 legs. And, well, there you go. That's all I want to say about the matter, really. The incredible thing about all the guys who've gone past on motorbikes in the last 5 minutes, and that's 3 bikes and 3, 6, 7 people, 8 people, they've all gone, hi sir, hi sir. I think there's a bunch of guys down the bottom who will bring you up here on the back of a motorbike, which will be fine for me, apart from Pepper don't like motorbikes, but no good for Chester. I don't think he'd be good on the back of a motorbike somehow. What's up, Mr. Gregory? You want another story? My goodness, you do ask for too much. So, see this big black rock up at the top here? This is at Bato Ni Ningning, and it was named after a TV series that was filmed up here. And you pay some money to go in. It's very cheap, but I remembered and brought my money with me. And they sell, you know, refreshments and snacks and merienda, as they call it in Tagalog. And then you can climb up this rock. There's a step ladder halfway up on one side, and you can take photos of you stood on the top of the rock overlooking the 14-kilometre wide beach. Now, one of the things about me that my viewers may or may not know is that I'm scared of heights, particularly unstable ones. And if it involves climbing up a ladder to stand on the top of rock in the wind, no, sorry, not for me. But I wanted to have a photo of me standing on top of the rock in the wind. And I decided to use it for my countdown to Palawan, which was a series of posters I did. First of all, 60 days to go, 30 days to go, 15 days to go, as I thought at the time, when I was in Bahrain waiting for my flight to the Philippines, and all my stuff was already on the way to the Philippines, packed and sent by courier, cargo, whatever you call it. And what happened? Oh yeah, so I said to Chester, I sent him all the photos that I'd taken around Palawan the year before, and I said, let's showcase the beauty of Palawan. Each poster will have a different place. So one of them was Bato Ni Ningning, and I said, could you Photoshop me so that I'm on top of the rock, which he duly did. And several of my friends believed that I actually stood on top of the rock, and they were very impressed. But then one day someone noticed the sort of little line around where I'd been cut out and reimposed on the rock and said, that's a Photoshop, isn't it? And I had to admit it was. So there you go, that's my second Bato Ni Ningning story. We're out of stories now, so we're going to carry on walking. Another story? Okay, so I had these two goldfish when I was about 8 or 10 years old, swimming around in a little glass bowl, and the water got dirty, and I probably had early OCD at that point, so I decided to put some toilet blocks into it, you know, the ones that you put in the urinal to keep the water clean, because I thought if they keep the water clean there, then they can keep the water clean here in the fish's bowl. And the next day the fishes were floating on their backs on the pool, and I asked my mother what had happened, and she said that I killed them. And we buried them, and we put them in a sardine can, I remember it well, and we dug a little hole and we put a little cross, and we put them under a tree, just like this tree here, so that we would know in years to come where exactly they were. And this tree here is where Chester fell down the hole, and so I want to remember him. And as we come back up here and I bring my children and grandchildren and in annex in the years to come, we'll stop by this tree and go, here lies Chester, who collapsed under the tree. If I was a dog, I could just get down on my knees and drink out of the little stream. But I'm not a dog, and sadly the dog hasn't appeared. We'll go looking for him on the way back. I did think about going back, but I thought if he's ill, he's going to be ill when we get back anyway, so we'll rest there. Maybe he'll feel better when I get back and we can limp down to the car at the bottom of the hill. So I'm going to carry on up to the top. I've come so close, it'd be silly to go back now. Just to let you know, we made it to the top. Well, I did. This is the view from the top of Bato Ni Ningning, looking down on the long beach, 14 kilometers of white sand beach, just outside a place called San Vicente. And at the very end is where they're going to build Paruga, which is going to be a new town with condominiums, hotels, restaurants, and this beach, which you can see is empty now, will be full of tourists, residents, visitors, etc. So, take in the beauty of this beautiful beach while you can. Apologies for the high wind, it's quite windy up at the top of the hill. But not down there very good. Not very good water supply or electricity supply. My hotel where I'm staying, they have solar power. Next door, which is on the doesn't have electricity, and they built it in April. So how these people, they're going to set up a town down here, I really don't know. All the vehicles coming in with cement, concrete, metal, because that's the only way to get the stuff here. This is the stone at the top of the viewpoint, and people love to go and stand up here and take their Instagrammable photos. Boring, boring, yawn, yawn. And these are some of the little islands with sandy beaches that you can get out to. We have a pressing need to get back down the hill to find Chester, who is in a ditch somewhere there. That's the view. We made it to the top of Bato Ni Ningning. We'll be back here next year when we got our 4x4 and we can drive up here nice and easily, because we're going to take some photos of Chester for December 2023 calendar, but we still have plenty of time. So let's go back down the track. Final story, Mr. Gregory, from voiceover man, because once again the high winds mean you can't hear the original soundtrack. Basically what I was saying was I arrived at this place, I remembered that you needed money to get in, 25 pesos, so I bought my bag with my money in it, but I didn't bother to check what notes, what money I had inside my wallet, and I only had 1,000 peso note, and it was 25 pesos, so the lady didn't have enough change to give me. I did manage to find enough coins to pay the 25 pesos to get in after that long walk, and also I managed to buy a bottle of water for me and a bottle of water for Chester, but no snacks, merienda, which was what I was hoping to get. And then we started the long journey back down the hill. Tell us a story, Mr. P. Well, when I was coming back down from Bato Ni Ningning and calling out his name, Chester, Chester, I heard this little doggy. And here he was lying in the undergrowth, having a sleep in the shade. And I've given him some water, and I've given him a doggy treat, and he seems to be okay. Seems to be making good recovery. He's drunk a bottle of water. He's had 2 doggy treats. He's still panting a lot. I think we're just going to leave him just a little rest until he's ready. And then we'll pull him out, and we'll head back down the hill, get in the air-conditioned car, get him some more water, and get him back to the hotel. And he can have a little sleep for the afternoon. We've obviously overexerted our little puppy. Hot news just in from the Oscars. Chester has been nominated for the Best Supporting Actor. Well done, Chester. His role was in Tatai Goes to Ningning, and he pretended that he'd been severely injured and fell into a ditch and couldn't get out. So Daddy climbed down into the ditch, got stung on the stinging nettles, nearly broke his neck and his back trying to lift Chester out because he's very heavy now. And then Chester proceeded to run down the track back to the car. So, Chester doesn't look too bad to me. Oh, he just stops. Every time I turn the camera on, he stops.